Alright, hello folks, this is Alan and welcome to another best out of one comprehensive draft video. Not a big fan of Thornville Drain Draft, so let's just do some Ravnica Allegiance, get some wins, use this as your study guide. Let's go. Pack 1 Pick 1 was our Mythic. Kaya is not that amazing. It's one of the few Planeswalkers in this set, but it's not really that great to be honest. 3 mana, Planeswalker, you can exile 2 cards from a single graveyard, sure. So it can give you a little bit of life. The minus ability could be better, but it only deals with tokens and whatnot. And the final ability doesn't really deal with the board. It's something you want to drain the opponent out with, of course. So, not that amazing, even though it's a Planeswalker. Looking at the uncommons, Concentrate Consume stands out as an excellent removal spell. You could still splash this, of course, in Azorius, and it's a pretty good removal spell nonetheless. But there's definitely a much more flexible option in his choice that I would consider over this. The life gain is nice. The ability to take out a big high power creature is really nice and gain life off of that. But again, it does kind of situate yourself into Orzhov right away. The standout common in this pack is a Grotesque Demise. So really, these are the only 2 cards I'm looking at. I think I prefer the removal spell over the mediocre Planeswalker. Sure, you can exile the graveyard, you can gain a little bit of life, but it doesn't really deal with the board presence, which is much more important in Limited. Both of these are close in power level. I think Concentrate Consume is slightly higher because it gains you a bit of life, but I mean, at the same time, it is 4 mana. It is a little bit more narrow since it puts you into Orzhov right away, while Grotesque Demise is great in Orzhov and Rakdos. So one can make the case for both of these. Concentrate is also splashable in like Azorius control, but it's definitely lacking a little bit in flexibility due over the Grotesque Demise. If Grotesque was in this pack, I'd snap pick this Concentrate Consume. But I think I want, for maximum flexibility, I think I like the Grotesque Demise. Concentrate Consume isn't busted in any way. It's definitely a powerful card, definitely very strong, but it can be slow due to the fact that you really want to use the Consume portion of it and not the Consecrate. The Consecrate isn't that amazing. Maybe it stops the Dead Revels, and you draw a card off of it, but it's not that great. You want to use the Consume half, which is a little bit of a slow spell. Sometimes instant speed removal is just better. The life game is relevant, but I think Grotesque is just a little bit more flexible. But the power level isn't so low compared to Consume that I would prefer Consume over Grotesque Demise. But one can make the case for both. I think I just like the more flexible option. Grotesque is just solid removal, and you can definitely start a nice pack with this, so let's pick it up. Followed with Grotesque, well, we got rewarded. If we took the Consecrate Consume, we'd be looking at a Twilight Panther here, and maybe the Orzhov Guildgate, which aren't that amazing. I guess there's a Chillbringer or 2 to splash in a Orzhov deck, but I like the Acrobat as an excellent follow-up. Definitely a great 2-drop in Rakdos. The Spectacle cost is nice. The ability to give this Death Touch and punch in for a lot for just a single black or red is really excellent. I think this is the best card overall in this pack. If this wasn't this pack, I'd probably be looking at a Scorch Mark as an okay removal spell. Maybe move towards Rakdos, Twilight Panther, Chillbringer as a splash. But happy to see a Acrobat here. So got rewarded for staying flexible. Let's take it. Nothing too amazing in this pack. The Rakdos cards are pretty awful. Guess there's an Impassioned Orator as an okay 2-drop. There's also an Orzhov Guildgate. There's a great Simic card. Jar Engineer and Aeromunculus are the best cards in this pack, but I don't think we're moving to those cards anytime soon. We could still be an Orzhov, of course. Impassioned Orator isn't the best 2-drop, just some 2/2 that gains a little bit of life at the end of the day. I think the Gate is a little bit more preferable in case we end up in Orzhov, because there tends to be a lot more synergy with these, and it helps fix your mana. So I think I like the Gate over the Impassioned Orator here. Nothing great in Rakdos, of course, but we could still end with splashing an Orzhov card, like we open up a Ethereal Absolution or Seraphim the Scales. I wouldn't mind going Rakdos and then splashing white for it. So let's take it here. Or we can just be a complete Mardu deck, who knows. Now there's a Gates ablaze, but it would be in a more Gates deck, of course. We do have one Gate. I don't know how relevant this is. Otherwise, I mean, I guess there's another Orzhov Guild Gates, or we can just take up Impassioned Orator. The best card in this pack via flexibility is a Seraphim Hybrid, but we're nowhere near green. Of course, one can take the case, move into Gruul, splash black for Grotesque Demise, and maybe Acrobat. But not looking amazing here. The Gates Ablaze requires a little bit of work, and it's a little bit weird in aggro, the fact that you don't want to blow up your own board, and it kind of makes you want to draft more Gates, of course, and I don't know how heavily I want to commit to Gates, given that black is looking to be low to the ground and aggressive. So maybe I can pick up my first copy of Impassioned Orator. Not the best 2-drops, but sometimes you just need them in case you don't pick up enough. I already have an Orzhov Guild Gate, but I think we can pick up a second one later. Sometimes just having more 2-drops is important in case we move into Orzhov, so let's take it here. Anything amazing in this pack? I guess there's an Imperious Oligarch as an excellent 2-drop. There's also Dead Revels as a powerful spell. Spirit can be a fine spectacle enabler for this Acrobat. Flowing Spirit, it's okay, but 3 white, double white can be a little bit difficult to cast sometimes. And at the end of the day, it's just a 3/3 blocker, and you're looking to be an Orzhov anyways. I think the card here is just Imperious Oligarch as an excellent 2-drop. So it seems like we might just be moving to Orzhov here. Excellent card to play on 2, leaves behind Afterlife token that can attack in the air or sacrifice for potential synergies. Arrester's Admonition is also fine, but not the best with our first pick. So liking the Oligarch here. Stick with Orzhov for now. Plague White is looking like a good 2-drop. There's also Twilight Panther as a nice, fine Death Toucher, but I think Plague White has a little bit more upside, just being a good 2-drop, a good attacker that can attack past 3 toughness. You're looking to be pretty aggressive in Orzhov either way. In black, Twilight Panther is a more defensive play. It's a fine turn 1 play that can help stabilize against big green creatures, but I think the Plague White, our first copy, is much more important here. There's another late Seraphim Hybrid. I guess the bots don't value it too much, but Plague White looks decent here. Guess there's another Guild Gate. I guess the Dead Revels can be fine here. There's also Night of Last Breath. I think the Dead Revels is more important, just in case we end up in Rakdos or Orzhov. This can be played in both decks. Find a way to recur creatures in the late game. Pretty solid, so let's take it. Not a big fan of Cry of the Carnarium. I guess there's a Twilight Panther we can take now if we move into Orzhov, just as a decent turn 1 play. With a little bit of Death Touch, can make it annoying for big green creatures to get past. Cry isn't that amazing. It can be a little bit awkward. Like the -2/-2 ability kind of exiles your own creatures at the end of the day, which you don't want to end up playing. Can be fine if you're more controlling, but again, black tends to be aggressive in this set. So I think I like the Twilight Panther here. Move on. And another second one could be fine. There's also Exposed to Daylight we can perhaps main deck. But for now, I think I'm fine having a little bit more early game creatures. The more we're stacked in the early game, the more we can pressure the opponent, cast Spectacle, deal a lot of damage, and just hopefully close out the game with a hyper-aggressive deck over like a situational card like Expose. And this is situational, but it can't deal with bombs like Ethereal Absolution or Ill-Gotten Inheritance. But I think we can pick up one later, and you don't really want to main deck 2 of these. I think Twilight Panther is decent here. We'll just take it. And the third one, I think third can be overkill, but otherwise, what else is there? Not a big fan of Concordian Pegasus, unless there's High Alert. Maybe just take a common for the gems. Hazda can be okay. We have nothing to play on 3. It's a pretty bad card. Still late Seraphim Hybrid. Maybe I can cut from the bots. I don't think I'm playing double of those. Maybe Spear. But I highly doubt it. Maybe Sentinel's Mark can make it. Not that impressive, of course. I think having 2 Twilight Panthers can be fine. We'll need 3 of them. Sentinel's Mark is not amazing, however, but you never know. Alright, looking at the second pack, I think we're just commit to Orzhov, but one can make the case for Rakdos maybe being slightly open. Maybe we open up a fire a wheeler. Rakdos Fire Wheeler, and we might just move into Rakdos. I mean, we could end up splashing this Acrobat, but it's not an amazing splash at the end of the day. But other than that, a pretty solid start to an aggressive Orzhov deck, so let's move on. Ooh, Rick Smalley Reveler is excellent in Rakdos. Definitely an excellent payoff for being that guild, but there's also Blade Juggler, which is good. 3 mana for the most part if you can spectacle this out and draw a card, so that seems like the nice solid pick here. Keeps us in Orzhov. Otherwise, Rix would be a nice start, but Blade Juggler is definitely a powerful 3-drop, so let's take it here. And Pilla's Pontiff, so it seems like a good reason to stick to Orzhov for now. I think I like it over the Final Payment. Final Payment is a removal spell, and we are kind of lacking in a sense, and we could work on some, but the upside of Pilla's Pontiff is pretty high if you can keep this on the battlefield with lots of sacrifice tokens. We currently don't have any, but this can be fine to stabilize against big green creatures. It's also a 2-drop, which makes this excellent. Final Payment would be nice, but it suffers the same problem with Pilla's Pontiff, that you need a lot more tokens to sacrifice, because you don't. This gets pretty bad multiples, of course, too. Of course, you can pay 5 life and destroy a creature. That can be okay for one game. But for the most part, you do want sacrifice fodder with Final Payment. But I think Pilla's Pontiff is just a higher payoff. It's a good 2-drop that can start attacking in the early game, can block big green creatures, and it has a little bit more upside. So let's take it here. Another Grotesimi seems excellent. I think I prefer it over the Ill-Gotten Inheritance. Ill-Gotten is much more superb in Rakdos because you tend to be more hyper-aggressive with. But you can see the case of playing this in Orzhov as well, because Orzhov tends to be aggressive. But I think I like my second Grotesque here because we're lacking removal, and this is just good. Ooh, there's a Skewer. Ooh, that's a late Pestilent Spirit. I guess that's a pick here. Not that amazing in Orzhov due to the fact that most of the removal effects aren't the ones that deal damage, like the Skewer to Critics or the Scorch Mark. But a 3 mana, 3/2 Menace with Death Touch is problematic. If you play it on 3, the opponent might have to double block and lose 2 creatures, so it's an excellent 2-for-1. Powerful creature overall. But there's also Blade Brand, but Late Pestilence shows that black is open. Let's take it. Grasping with Rose seems like an excellent curve topper, so we'll take that. Cold Guild Mage is still in this pack, so it seems like Rakdos and Orzhov are open. Maybe Orzhov slightly more, but happy to see that. So we should have enough playables. Don't think I'm splashing for a Acrobat at this point. Maybe Viscopa makes it. It could be a little bit of an upgrade over the Haza Officer. The Life Gain could be okay, but nothing amazing here. Summary Judgment looks great. I think I prefer it over the Plague White just to have more removal. And it can deal with flyers as well, or if you're flying, you can use this on a big ground creature main phase to deal 5 damage to it. So it seems solid. So let's take it over to Plague White. Maybe play the Caracal. Who knows? Yeah, if we need some, maybe we need a filler 2-drop. Debtor's Transport maybe. Don't know if I'm playing double Impassioned Orator. It's one of the weaker 2-drops in this game. In this set, of course, you want cards like Plague White, maybe Oligarchs, the Guild Mages, whatnot. So Debtor's Transport can be a fine 6-drop. Not that amazing, of course, but I don't see myself playing double Orator. We're not looking to heal or stabilize. We're looking to just be aggressive from the start, from the get-go. This can be a fine 2-drop, but it's just a 2/2, so Debtor's Transport can maybe make the cut. Hopefully pick up enough Afterlife synergies that this can be great. Nothing here. Ill-Gotten Wield, that's excellent. We do have a hole at 4. Great win condition, powerful card. Let's take it. Blade Brand looks good here, so one can make the case of splashing Skewer, but we don't have a Rakdos Guildgate right now. It's better to just stay consistent in black-green, black-white for the most part. And Blade Brand can be a fine way to trade off for something and draw a card. Alright, looking at the final pack, what do we need? More grasping throws can be nice. I don't think we're looking to splash anything. Maybe better 2-drops to upgrade over this Caracol and this Impassioned Orator. Could use a little bit more flyers as curve toppers, which we don't have much. Could use a final payment or some more token generators or some syndicate messengers, but pretty okay start. Shows that Orzhov was open this pack. Glad that we stuck with this guild. Let's move on. Ooh, how about a Unbreakable Information? It can be a good card. There's also Ministrant Obligation, which is great in our deck. Spire Mangler's okay, but I think I prefer the Ministrant over it. Sand Griffin can be a fine 4-drop that scries for 1. So pretty tough decision. I think I would prefer these two over the Spire Mangler, of course. Now the Unbreakable Formation is pretty powerful. How many creatures do we have? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. Not that many creatures. I don't know if we're in Unbreakable Formation deck. It's better off if you have a lot of flyers already, which we currently don't have any. It's better off if you have a lot of, again, a lot more flyers, which we only have 1. So it's not looking too amazing in our current deck, to be honest. For the most part, we're looking to just win with the Grasping Throw, Ilgan, and maybe some other more flyers that we can pick up, maybe from the Afterlife tokens. But I don't think this is a great Unbreakable Formations deck, even though this is an excellent first pick and a great card overall. Gain Indestructible and also gives all your creature +1 counters in Vigilance. So that's great, but I think the Ministrant is just what we need in this deck. Just to have a better 3-drop than this Hazda Officer. Can generate flyers. Can be nice for the Pitiless Pontiff. So, I think we just kind of picked a slightly weaker card. But I would love an Unbreakable Formation here. Let's take the Ministrant. Ooh, Angelic Exaltation. How good is it? There's also Bedazzle, of course. With double black, we can remove something, which can be pretty good, and we could use a little bit more removal. The Angelic Exaltation is great with flyers, of course. Ground creatures get chump block, so we do have Afterlight with Imperious Oligarch, the Ministrant, and Grasping Throw. Maybe Debtor's Transport can make some flyers for us, and we can punch through. For a whole crap ton, so it can be a nice win condition. Bedeck is a nice removal card. Another Ill-Gotten can be okay. With 2 of them, we do have a hole at 4. There's also a Guild Gate. Might just end up playing this Transport just to have a Curve Topper. Not the most amazing, but it's fine. But maybe the removal spell is just much more important. I think we can win without Exaltation. It does give us another way to win, but with cards like Ill-Gotten and if we have enough removal, we can just punch through with a bunch of creatures and flyers and win from there. And we don't necessarily need to make them big with the Angelic Exaltation. So I think our win conditions are decent enough that we don't need this. Could make the case for second Ill-Gotten, but I think another removal spell is just better here. Just to make sure we deal with the opponent's stuff and get through. So I think the deck is fine. Ooh, there's also Deputy Detention, but we need to splash for it. There's a second Blade Brand, but it's not looking... I think 1 should be enough. Could speculate on splashing this Deputy. We have a Scope of Vampire. Maybe it's a little bit too late to splash for that. We should just maybe try double Blade Brand. If we pick up a Footlight Fiend, this can be great, especially if it can deal 1 damage with that Death Touch. So this seems okay. Let's try it. Maybe we're not splashing for his Deputy. Mortify is looking great. Happy that this is still late in the pack, so now we have the best removal spell that we can possibly ask for, and it's going to deal with pretty large creatures that we should have trouble dealing with, so definitely excellent pickup here. Let's take it. Could maybe main deck and expose. There's still Law Mage's Binding in this pack. Don't think I'm playing Bring to Trial. Like, it's fine against big green creatures, but it's too situational. I think our first copy expose could do a little bit more work for us, so let's take it. Like, lo and behold, the wheel, but there's a final payment in this pack, which I think I'm taking. Makes sense. With the Afterlife. Plague White looks excellent. Well, there's also Senate Griffin here. How many early game do we have? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. We should have enough early game. I mean, even though Prowling Caracal is bad, I might just take it here. I think we might need the extra flyer at 4 mana that can scry for 1. I think our early game should be fine enough that we could use a good 4-drop here. That being Senate Griffin can scry for 1, gives another evasive flyer that can help close out the game. So yeah, let's take it. Don't think I'm playing 2 of these. Drill Bit can be fine, but it's better than Rakdos, of course. Another Final Payment, sure. Another Cat, maybe. We'll see. Okay, so pretty okay deck. We managed to get a bunch of key removal spells that we needed for the final pack. And I might just play Dare's Transport as a 6-drop because we're kind of low on late game cards, to be honest, on curve toppers. So let's see, what's cuttable? We can cut the Drill Bit. We could cut a Blade Brand. How good is double Final Payment? It can be fine. Sometimes it's fine just doing 5 damage to ourselves and just killing a creature. We could just cut the Caracal, who knows? It's a pretty bad 2-drop. Everything else seems fine. Haza Officer can probably go. Viscopa can maybe be cuttable. I guess we can cut the Exposed too. I think I'm liking the Dead Revels here. So if we just cut a Caracal, maybe a Drill Bit, Viscopa, and a Blade Brand, I guess we can just call it a day. One can make the case of going 16 lands, of course, but 17 lands is just a little bit more consistent here. One Blade Brand's fine. It's not the most amazing Blade Brand deck. We should have enough early game to play that we can try to leverage and win from there. There's Exposed to Daylight. How good is this? We can get something occasionally. How many creatures do we have? We could use a little bit more creatures, so maybe I can cut this and put in another creature. Maybe Caracal can come in. As bad as it is, it can be a fine 2-drop that you can play early, and it can get in for a little bit of damage. So we can have like 13 creatures here. Blade Brand, Summary Judgment, Bedeck. And we do have Dead Revels to give us something, so I think we just cut the mountain here. Doesn't make sense. So, I mean, our curve is looking pretty low. We do have mana sinks, I guess. Not many, to be honest. Like, this Pitiless Pontiff is a little bit of a mana sink. Yeah, maybe we can go run away with 16 lands in the gate, perhaps. And what do we put in? We could just put in a Twilight Panther, or maybe the Exposed can be fine, I guess. And go 16 lands. Now Sorrows doesn't look amazing. Something like this. With all these removal spells, we can probably get there. A Drill Bit can be fine, actually, but we should have enough removal to deal with their stuff that we don't need it. Sometimes Exposed is just... We should have enough removal that we don't need to like Drill Bit them early in the game, and we can just deal with whatever he plays out. So maybe we can just go 16 lands and try this. With a really low curve. 13 creatures seems fine. I could make the case of cutting Exposed for Viscopa Vampire, but it's not that amazing at 1 toughness. And we have a pretty bad 2-drop either way with the Caracal. So, yeah, let's try this out. And I think it's an even split, but slightly favoring black, of course, so 9-8 seems fine. Yeah, I think having Exposed can just be better sometimes. I mean, I guess Drill Bit can be better, because you can just take a card from them, but Exposed does deal with annoying enchantments. It is more situational, of course, but let's try this deck out. And 3 drop, 4 drop, 5 drop seems okay, and we're on the draw. I think this is worth keeping. Would love a 2 drop in 2 turns. But we have an extra draw step, so we'll see. Opponent's in red, so maybe Rakdos or Gruul. Gruul. Alright, happy seeing this 2 drop. I think we're going to keep ourselves double white for now to hide some info. Next turn, Ministrant looks good. Could play something here. Alright, I might be fine trading off this for the 3-2. But let's play out this Ministrant. Maybe I can just keep it back, to be honest. And I think the Ministrant's better off trading off for this. This can gain a little bit of life, so yeah, let's just stay back. Steeple Creeper. So you have 2 good blockers against this. This is looking decent. Ooh, there's also Ill-Gotten Inheritance. He doesn't have any blue to give this flying. I could use a removal spell. I think the Sand Griffin makes sense here. Maybe get a land off the top. Make sure we hit our Grasping Throw. Okay, land is good. Might just attack with this Ministrant. Could attack with the Orator. Keep the 2-1 back behind on defense. But he is hitting me for a lot more. Yeah, just keep these back. I don't think I can race a Gruul deck. But in both of these, blocking these 2 would be pretty nice here. Could skewer this. Alright, Cereborn Hybrid. I think I need to kill that. Okay, Collision, sure. A single green gives them access to make this into a 6-6, which can be problematic. So I might just play it safe and keep up a deck. And just say go. Okay. I could have main phased it, of course. But I think I'm going to block here and try to force him to use the pump. And now I can beat deck in response, so this is great value for us. Uses up his whole turn. Hybrid's dead. Now Grasping Throw is looking nice, and I also have a Dead Revels in case he answers this. Gaining a lot of life here, so opponent should have a hard time dealing with us. Yeah, I'm staying back too with these. I can develop an Ill-Gotten Inheritance, which can activate Spectacle. Okay, I guess he has a fight spell, sure. And I'm probably just going to trade this Ministrant off if he attacks with this 5-2. Because it's going to trade nonetheless if he attacks next turn with it, and I want to get this trade. I think I like the Ill-Gotten. Next turn we can Dead Revels back our Flyers, say go. Alright, so definitely looking good here. Doesn't matter. Don't think it matters which ones I block. Let's just block like this. If he uses a pump trick, I could just Final Payment here. Okay, sure, Storm Strike. Yeah, I think this is worth doing. And this denies him the Scry ability too. So good 2 for 1, nice value there. Now I get double Flyers, and I can revive back my creatures. So yeah, I'm going to bring back both of the Flyers to have a better win condition overall. So these 2 look great. And I should be able to win this. Managed to outvalue my opponent. Excellent. Let's get in there. Let's bomb Swamp. Next turn should be lethal. I should be able to sacrifice Ill-Gotten and deal the extra 4. Alright, Sweet. Got the first game out of the way. Looking like a pretty decent deck. There wasn't any enchantments in that last game, so if you're facing up against green opponents, it doesn't seem like Expose is that amazing, but it can shoot down like maybe Riots. I forgot I forgot. There's the Guardian Projects to shoot down, the Gruul enchantment to shoot down. So I think having the Expose is okay here. So I think this is still fine. Drill bit requires a spectacle to get for good value, and we're kind of bad activating spectacle, to be honest, with this deck. Guess the early game can get in and you can activate this, but yeah, I think this is good for now. Alright, bunch of 2-drops. I think I'm keeping. Maybe lead with an Orator, gain a little bit of life. Don't know if the 1 life is relevant. Plague-wise just a better attacker overall. But yeah, just lead off the Orator. Next turn we can double spell. This can gain us 2 life, which can be fine. Opponent has a Wavefinder, so if we play Plague White, we could attack past this. But I took the route where we want to basically get the health going, which makes sense. So let's just play it out like this. Say go. Fine taking 2 because this Impassioned Orator just upsets the life gain component. Using Admonition to bounce. Could just take 2 and trade for 3. Let's play this back. I have Summary Judgment up for the flyer, so that seems okay. Right, Griffin might fire off a Summary Judgment on his turn when he attacks. It could get countered, of course. That's a problem, given that he's all his mana up. But I think I'm fine attacking with the Plague White for now. Okay, that's reasonable. Sure, I think the trade is worth it. Yeah. I think I'm saving Blade Brand since he's playing big green creatures. We can stop them, so that's a good card for Summary Judgment. Could just take 2, and if I attack with the Impassioned Orator, I can Blade Brand. And this isn't that scary of a card. I could get an extra life gain, of course. He's probably going to suspect something, but I think it's fine attacking here. And he's going for the block, so happy to Blade Brand that out of the way. Ooh. Well, it would have been nice if I could Spectacle this out, of course. So I guess I'm still taking 2. I'm fine for now. Pretty good trades. I like trading these ground creatures for cards like Chillbringer, of course. Could take 5 with the final payment and deal with this. But I think it's still okay taking 3 for now. In the air, I think I can save final payment for something even scarier. Yeah, just play out this Blade Juggler. Alright, Spirit. So we're gonna take 5. I could trade this Blade Juggler off, and it could be fine due to the fact that I want to get back with Dead Revels, so it seems decent here. And I think I might main phase the Summary Judgment just to avoid Quench. So this seems okay. And I could play out the Pontiff to play around Quench and also keep up final payment. So let's do this. I guess I can get him for 1. If he wants to trade the flyer off, that's fine. Could have Dead Revels. Think I should have done that. Who knows? Admonition. Sure. Could just take 3 and final payment end of turn. Okay, that's a scary card. I might final payment that. But I do have the Twilight Panther on defense against that. So maybe just fine taking 3 for now. I could just take 5, of course. Yeah, it should be okay. Grotesque seems good here. I could just keep a mana for it though. I mean, it seems like a pretty decent target to Grotesque. So let's do it. And we can get in there for 1. It's good to get this away when he's tapped out so he doesn't have Counterspell mana up. We still have a Death Toucher on defense. Alright, he's just using the bounce to draw. Sure, buying some time. Now this could get countered. And I'd rather have this countered than Pontiff, to be honest. We're attacking here. I could just play out the Pontiff, of course. And if I'm getting this countered, because I already do have double Death Touchers on the battlefield, it's better to just develop the board to start getting in. So, alright, opponent is flying out, which is good for us. So we can get in a huge attack. Dead Revels back some cards, but we'll see. I could save the Dead Revels for something like Grasping Throw, of course. This Fairy Duelist, sure. I guess he might just... I could just Blade Brand. I mean, that's a free card. Thanks. Guess he wants to buy some time. Yeah, I think I like to get back to Blade Juggler here just to make sure I draw my stuff. The Orator looks fine too, so I can play out the Orator and also draw the Blade Juggler. Something like this. Gain a little bit of life, stabilize. And there's no board whites in Simic, so I don't think I'm scared of anything for now. Or a Homunculus, sure. You can adapt it, but my Death Touchers can get through. I think I'm fine sending like this. Still winning the race here, so don't think I'm afraid of anything. Alright, that Sand Griffin is kind of scary. I do have lethal on board, so if he attacks at a 3-4, I can send in everyone. I think it's worth it. So let's go. Just kind of forces him to block, of course. Opponent's at 1, he just needs 3 damage to kill me, so a single pump spell can kill me here. He might have to stay back on defense. Alright. Sweet. So no enchantments on that match too, so maybe Exposing isn't that amazing, to be honest. Maybe it's better just have a million creatures, and it's better to just have a Viscopa Vampire or something, or another Twilight Panther on turn 1. That can do some work. Because our most recent opponents didn't really do much. So I could see myself playing the second Twilight. I mean, this can be fine against like Law Mage's Binding too, so I think we still keep going with this. I guess it's just maybe we were facing against green opponents. We weren't facing against other Orzhov or Rakdos or Azorius opponents that we didn't manage to get good value off of this exposed, but sometimes it's really powerful if you can definitely have it shoot down an enchantment. I think I like the swamp, so if I top deck another one, I have access to the deck. Nothing here. Definitely keeping the Ministrant. Forgot to mention why I kept another green opponent, so another Gruul/Simic deck with a million Seraphorms. I think I like bedecking this. Seems like Ministrant's the most mana efficient. I would love to have another black so I can bedeck this right away. I might hold the 2-1 back on defense. He could have like Fairy Duelist. So if he attacks, I might not block. Yeah, it seems like there's a Fairy Duelist here. But it kind of forces him to use it on his turn too, so yeah, it's probably Fairy Duelist here. That's fine. Because it's going to get out of the way. And none of this stuff can really deal with Duelist that I currently have. Don't think I need to keep anything up. I guess a Plague White can be fine. I mean, Oligarch can trade nicely against this Seraphim, so we're just going to say go here. Need to be careful not to make sure that he doesn't get the 6 mana, and I don't have anything to deal with this, so could have another Fairy Duelist. I'm probably still fine blocking to kind of use up his whole turn. If I took the 2, he could develop the 2-drop or something. I don't know. It's debatable whether or not I should have blocked or not, but I think preventing 2 is fine. There is a flyer removal spell that deals 1 damage to all other flyers, so if he has that in his deck, this can really take out my Spirit tokens, and that can be a problem. Punk could just pass turn with mana up. Ooh, Gatebreaker Ram. Sure, I Blade Brand to answer that. Don't think I need to Bedazzle for now. I think the Plague White is okay. I could just get him with the Imperious Oligarch. Of course, he could block with the Fairy Duelist. But then I have access to flyers that I can start getting in. Yeah, let's go for it. If he blocks with a Gatebreaker Ram, I can just basically Blade Brand it, of course. This is Vigilance, so alright. I'm fine with this trade. Now my flyers can start getting in, of course, and I still have a target for Blade Brand at the end of the day, so yeah, I think I'm gonna go for it. Guess the Plague White can get Blade Branded. Maybe the flyers are a little bit more important. And yeah, let's Blade Brand here. He could have like a counter spell, but I'm fine with that. At least I get that out of his hand. Yeah, he probably has a counter spell here. That's okay. Maybe I could have done this before blocks to maybe preserve the creature. Okay, Titanic Brawl. Sure. I still have final payment to deal with the Seraphim Hybrid and Gatebreaker Ram at least. Okay. Oops, that was a little bit weird. So maybe a bit of a misplay from the opponent. But now Panther to block these 2. Don't know what the opponent was thinking there, trying to okay, Fairy Duelist. Sure, fine with him eating a single token for the most part. Because I do need removal for these creatures, of course. I mean, it does deal with my token, so. But I think I need a way to deal with the Seraphim Hybrid. I'm fine just losing a token here. Fairy Duelist is not the worst thing. I could Dead Revels, but on Dead Reveling is a bunch of ground creatures, so I think this is fine. I think I like doing this and then giving a Death Touch. So I can get Ram out of the way. Good final payment, but I have Bedazzle up. Ooh, Grotesque Demise is looking excellent, so let's attack here. Just say go. I could just take it here. If he decides to pump the Hybrid, I will Demise in response. I could just better off just Bedeck, to be honest, because it's double black and it's a little bit harder to cast. But this is looking good. Now maybe it's a time to Dead Revels and get something out there. Not the most amazing Dead Revels. but it's fine. Maybe bring back Minstrant, and believe it or not, maybe Twilight Panther is pretty good here, just to have a ground Death Toucher. So Minstrant can sacrifice itself with the Fairy Duelist and make a bunch of flyers. So yeah, let's do this. Let's play this out. Let's attack. If he blocks, I get a bunch of flyers, so he's not blocking. So I'll Panther first. You could have a counter spell, but I think I risk it. Pontiff looks good. I think I'm keeping that, just to have more defense against ground creatures. Opponent messed up with the Gateway Plaza turn. He was supposed to tap a gate. He could have a 4/4 Vigilance attacking that turn. I think he was a little bit impatient, I guess. Fairy Duelist is annoying, but I do have like removal next turn, like Grotesque Demise and Final Payment to deal with it. If he tries some shenanigans like Fight and Pump. Right, Flames, okay, so... Okay, well that's not 4 power though. So I would have been dead. So luckily he didn't have any big creatures on the battlefield. Now Pontiff can start getting in. I could attack the Twilight Panther too. Yeah, I should have done that. So if he blocks, I could activate the Death Touch. And yeah, probably just letting him attack here. Don't really care. 1 damage. We're out racing the opponent at this point. Could have like something like Gates Ablaze, of course. Let's see what he does. Don't know if I want to tap out here. Let's just attack. See what happens. Could have an ambush trick here. Slimebind. Sure. I think it's fine playing out the Thrall. Alright, excellent. Yeah, that Flames of the raised board would have wrecked me if he had any 4 power creatures. That would just totally destroy my whole entire board, and that would have been painful. But currently 3-0. Let's keep going. Alright, Twilight Panther into Blade Juggler, and we're on the draw, so seems fine. Sure, if the opponent doesn't have any early game plays, we can get Spectacle and start chipping away at them, but other than that, they're okay 1-drops. It's pretty bad against non-green opponents, of course, but yeah, it seems like the opponent might be an Orzhov or Zorius. It's an okay 1-drop, nonetheless, so... Could have Summary Judgment, and I'm fine with that. If he wants to trade Summary Judgment for Panner, that's definitely totally fine for me. So now we can play out the second Twilight Panther. Next turn we can perhaps Spectacle out the Blade Juggler. This deck has a lot of good removal spells. Happy that we picked up the Bedeck over like... yeah, sure. I'm fine with that. Using a good removal spell on just a 1/2. So opponent's stuck on mono white. So let's just get an attack in. He could use his other summary judgment, which is fine. Opponent takes it, and now I can play out Blade Juggler. He could be Azorius, he could be Orzhov, but it seems like he's missing out on a second color here, which he's going to get punished for. Okay, Orzhov. Syndicate Messenger is a good card, but it could be a fine target to just Bedeck. Maybe I just trade for the Blade Juggler, and then Plague White can start getting in. I don't have double black for Bedeck, of course. Yeah, seems reasonable. And I can also Dead Rebels back my Blade Juggler later. So Plague White can start getting in, so that's nice. If I blocked the Twilight Panther, if he blocked the Twilight Panther, I could have saved the Blade Juggler and maybe potentially just activate Death Touch. Maybe he has his own Blade Juggler now that he's attacking. Okay, none. Okay, guess we can get a nice attack in. No instant speed removal shenanigans. Okay, this Oligarch looks decent. Sure. Opponent doesn't have any grasping throws, and I'm missing on land drops, so that's a bit of a problem. I could just Blade Brand main phase, just to make sure I hit my land drop. Let's just get an attack in first. Yeah, let's just Blade Brand now. And we've got a Plains, so that's decent. Just want to make sure I hit my Grasping Throw and my land drops, and I don't really have anything I want to depth. Okay, well that's the reason to have Exposed to Daylight. So I definitely need to dig towards that. Let's think. Ooh, Mortify kills it. Gonna just pull the trigger now. Yeah, let's do it. Before he starts exiling more of my stuff. So yeah, thankfully I Mortify to deal with that. Jeez. We only have single blacks, so we can't double spell. I think Grasping Throw is decent here. Oops. Oh my god, that was really bad misplay. Jesus. Yeah, huge misplay there. Okay, the Vindictive Vampire is annoying, but I can still get rid of it with the Bedeck portion of it. I could just attack him with Panther. Use a Death Touch to get rid of it, but I think Grasping Throw makes more sense here. Jeez, yeah, that was a huge misplay. I should have got this a turn earlier. But now Bedeck is looking nice against his Vindictive Vampire. Probably a removal spell, sure, Sky Tether, but I can still block this 2-3. I think I'm going to do it here. If he wants to give it Death Touch, that's fine. This doesn't go on the stack, so... Yep, I think it's a good turn to Inheritance here. Attack. Maybe just play out the Pontiff. I could... Yeah, let's play it out. He could have a removal spell, that's fine. I should be able to win the game without this being indestructible. That was a little bit weird play of Sky Tethering and then just throwing his Vindictive Vampire onto it. I think that was a pretty bad play, to be honest. Summary Judgment's fine, but I think this is lethal. Depends on if he has removal. Yep. So yeah, the opponent made some pretty questionable decisions there. But overall, happy to have won this draft. Alright, currently 4-3. Let's try to get to 7. Let's continue. Guess we're kind of the new season reset, so none of the opponents are too difficult or too challenging for me. That, you know, I'm managing to get a good win rate with an okay Orzhov deck. So face against a couple opponents that did some misplays, of course. So I guess the new season is always some noobs to run over and get a bunch of wins and grind off of. So Alright, I do need a single white. But I don't think I can keep this. A little bit quite fishy. I'm on the play. If I don't get a single white, I guess I've Grotestamize in a Blade Brand, but yeah, that's mulligan. And this is a little bit better. I think we keep this. We just bomb the Debtor's Transport. I think it's just going to take us forever to get there. So this seems fine. And we can win without it. With enough flyers, we should be able to close out the game without the Debtor's Transport as a 6-drop. And we're 16 lands, so it's a high chance we don't make it. Passion Orator, sure, but I'm fine attacking in. Sure. So, opponent is splashing red, I'm presuming. Don't see a reason to go Boros in this draft. So it could be splashing red, maybe Orzhov splashing red. Here, I can't imagine Azorius splashing red. I guess he's not splashing red. Okay, I guess Splash Rakdos splashing white makes sense here. But he can definitely hold out my ground. Maybe it's okay. These trades are okay, maybe. I can just make a bunch of flyers. And this Orator can just give me a bunch of life in the meantime, so let's get in for an attack. Okay, sure. Still make a 1/1 token. I might just trade off the Orator if he offers an attack here, of course. A Cavalcade deck. Okay, makes sense, so he doesn't want to lose all of his 1-drops. So yeah, I guess we can get an attack in here. Might be fine trading this Orator off. But this does give me a bit of life against this Cavalcade, and it does keep back the 1/1 tokens. But in the meantime, he gains life too, so I think it's fine attacking here with everything. Could just Blade Brand and draw a card. I think that can be okay. Seems reasonable, so we can make sure we hit our land drops. Alright, so that seems good. Now we have Summary Judgment up that can deal with this Orator if he decides to attack with it. Yeah, let's Summary Judgment this. Let's get this out of the way so he doesn't gain a million life. Not a big fan of this Cavalcade plan, especially when you need a bunch of Goblin Gatherings, and cards like Bring the Trial are a little bit strange. Okay, well I guess he has a whole bunch of them anyways, but I guess we're fine playing out the flyer, gain some life and attack. Twilight Panther, I guess I can hold back the 1-drops. And it can be fine next turn, I guess. But I think we can get something a little bit more exciting. Could just keep the Ministrant back. Don't think I'm going to die anytime soon. Something like this. We can block a token. We can block 2 tokens, in fact. Okay, for being Spirits, so that's a little bit of a weird card too if he's playing defense. But I can still gain attack by paying 2 and then keeping 1 up for Pitiless Pontiff, so that seems fine. Guessing Exposed to Daylight works against this pretty decently, so if opponent gets an attack in, I'm probably just gonna block here. I think I like sacrificing this Ministrant. I don't think he has any board wipes, and then gain a bunch of life in the meantime. And these flyers can start getting in. So now I can get into flyers. Next turn he's dead. This is nice. So, Spectacle. Could have tapped it a little bit more efficiently, keep 1 white up. But I think the opponent should be dead by now. Right? I don't think I need to Dead Revels anything here. Alright. So glad the new season started. We have a bunch of noobs to farm, basically. So now an easy 5-0. Gem is nice. 2 more wins. Let's keep going. Alright, some excellent 2-drops. Double white for Sand Griffin. Definitely a keep here. Might just lead off with a Plague White, to be honest. I think it's just a better attacker overall. Can get past stuff like this Tin Street Dodger, which can block this Imperious Oligarch. So, yeah, start with a Plague White. He might make this unblockable. Don't think I'm trading off for this. I think the Plague White is just better here. And there's really nothing he wants to Spectacle besides, like, maybe... Alright. Maybe it's fine attacking. You can make this unblockable next turn. Seems fine. Opponent is ahead in the race, I guess. But I can't block this profitably anyways because it's 1 toughness. So probably just gonna play the Oligarch, take 2, say go next turn. And he could like have a Blade Juggler too. But I guess I'm still taking 2. He could make this unblockable, but I guess I'm gonna have him get the Blade Juggler for now, but ooh, Spawn. Well, that's a scary card. Now, what's better, Mortify or Final Payment? This can't block either way. Mortify might have better targets. It is more mana efficient, but I think it's fine maybe using Final Payment here. I mean, this isn't going to get past anyway, so I think it's fine using Final Payment. Mortify could deal with some problematic enchantments and other creatures. Can't let the Spawn of Mayhem stick on the battlefield, it's just too powerful. Well, that's interesting, attacking him for 3. Guess he doesn't want me to block this Tin Street Dodger. No cards, interesting. Let's play out the Sand Griffin. Oh god, Inheritance doesn't seem bad. But now I can start attacking with these 2. Don't know if I want to trade out the Griffin for this Plague White. I am ahead of the race if I don't... Sure. Now I'm behind the race. This Ogun could upset the bit of life loss, I guess. Plague White, another one. Can't block any of this profitably. So unfortunately I think I have to go on the offensive plan. But it is 5 damage. Maybe next turn I can leave behind play out Ministrant and have a bunch of chump blockers against this. But should be okay for now. Land is good. So I think I'm like the Ministrant here. I might chump block a Plague White with this, and it leaves behind 1/1 tokens. I think I'm attacking with both. So he's going to be at... I could die to a Skewer, so maybe I just keep back a Flyer, attacking for 2. Yeah, Skewer would be bad here, so I think it's fine to just keep these both up to block. Yeah, let's double block here. I can swing back for 4 next turn, I guess, and I can activate Inheritance to kill him if he doesn't have anything to block with. But I think this is better so I don't die to Skewer. Alright, and I might just go for it here. And sacrifice the Inheritance for lethal. Alright, excellent. Alright, so interesting so far. Currently 6-0. Let's take a nice screenshot of this dumb draft. Alright, let's take it again. A bit of a misclick here. Now let's take a snapshot of this deck. Seems like running a lots of removal is definitely great and limited. That's for sure. Mortify came in at the right time when the opponent dropped the Ethereal Absolution on me. So happy that I'm playing it. Wondering where the hell the Mortify is in the first place. Alright, right here. So currently at 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. 7 removal spells is excellent with a bunch of Death Touchers. With a Debtor's Transport as a curve topper. So happy that we didn't pick a filler 3 drop. Or took Drill Bits or Viscopa over this and 16 lands. So yeah, 13 creatures, 11 non-creatures. Take a snapshot of this. So I think it's probably because our opponents weren't great overall. Like against better opponents, I don't think we would gotten to 6-0. I guess people are still new to this draft set that I'm managing to get away with all these wins. But happy to go 16 lands and let's take down the final boss. Let's go for it. Alright, opponent's on the play. I do have Pestilent Spirit on 3, so maybe this can be okay. A third land gives me access to it, as well as Grotestimize. Just need a single planes, we're on the draw. Think is reasonable, as weird as it seems. Yeah, let's keep this. Alright, a third Swamp gives us access to these 2 spells. A planes would be nice off the top. Opponent's playing in an aggressive deck. Okay, so Twilight Panther is excellent here. Actually, can't really block this play white profitably, but at least it's something that we're playing early on. So glad that we picked up white mana. I think I'm taking 2 here. He's going to play out Blade Juggler. And I might be forced to take hits from it. Okay, sure. Don't know if I can outrace him. I might have to demise. Ooh, well that's a good 3 drop. I think I like that over the Pestilent Spirit. Can easily block the 3/2, make 2 1/1s. So happy that I picked this up over the The instant speed spell. He could have a Scorch. Okay, well, that's not something I want to see, so this is looking pretty abysmal. I think I still have to take 5 here. I could chump block, but it's not a good chump block, to be honest. Another Plague White. Darn it. Don't know if I want to trade Pestilent Spear for a 2-1, but it might be necessary. I guess a Pestilent Spear can get in here. Maybe Death Touch on the Blade Juggler, kill it off. Might have to trade this. Yeah, I think I have to. This is just too much damage. Plague White is such a good 2-drop. You could have Dead Revels. Yeah, that Exile effect for Scorch Mark really did a lot against me. Now I have to Mortify this. Let's get this out of the way. Also spawn a Mayhem, which is pretty insane for this Rakdos deck, so I think we're just going to take 2 here. Don't know if this was the same deck I played against. I guess it was the same guy. I had to look back on this YouTube video. Okay, probably had to discard these 2. I think I need Demise to answer the Plague White. So, just going to say go here. I just Demise this. Is a pretty hard 2-drop to deal with. And I don't want to give him Spectacle at all. Hopefully he passes his turn. Well, Brain Tree Vandal's annoying now. It's going to help him loot. Alright, Oligarch is excellent. I can use this to block the 3-2. I can, in the meantime, taking 1 from this Footlight Fiend, which isn't great. But at least I blocked this 3-2 profitably. Alright, Clamor Shaman's not looking nice. Alright, he's going to get in for a huge attack. I'm going to be at 1. I should be dead the following turn after. So yeah, final boss definitely gave me my first loss. Here. Summary Judgment is good, but it's not going to prevent this or this, so good game. I think it was a reasonable keep. I think the opponent just had a really hyper-aggressive start that I couldn't deal with. So let's move on. Hopefully we don't queue against him again. Alright, 3-drop. Could use a 2-drop, but I think this is fine. We're on the play, so I think this is an okay keep. Need double white for Sand Griffin. Could use some removal spells, but I think this is fine to begin with. The opponent last game had some pretty insane removal with that Scorch Mark, exiling this Ministrant. Alright, opponent's on blue, could have counterspell, have you see a guild gate. That can help us give our 4-drop some leverage. Could have a counterspell next turn, he plays nothing. But I think I still play into it just so I can resolve the Santa Griffin and play out my future 4-drops. But this would be pretty bad if he counters this. Yeah, he probably has it. He is keeping... He's holding priority. I guess it could be like a summary judgment or like... Well, he should have flashed this in while I attack, so I guess we're playing against another noob opponent, which I'm happy to face against. And he's going triple color, so he's going deep. Santa Griffin, can't attack past that. So I think I'm going to take 1-2 for now. Since I can't attack past that, I might as well just play out the Ilgan Inheritance. Just to drain the opponent for a bit. Because this isn't going to attack past the 1-4 either way. And he's just going to keep... I guess it keeps it back, but... Okay, well that's scary. So, I guess I need my Mortify ASAP, or else I'm going to have trouble dealing with this card. I could just go... Yeah, I think the Sand Griffin can help me scry towards it. Grotesque Demise could be decent, I guess. I think I'm still going to take some damage for now. Next turn, if he attacks, I could Grotesque on the stack. And then I can probably block profitably and do a nice trade. But this is going to become a 3-4 or something next turn. Azorius Night Arbiter is something I don't want to see. Okay, so I'm going to take a beating for now. I could just Grotesque on a stack against this. If he attacks with it. So I think that's the plan. Just Siggo. You could have Counterspell, of course, but I think I'm willing to risk it just so I can buy a turn. Could just play a creature here. So I need to deal with his board, I need to deal with this annoying enchantment. Hopefully no Counterspell. Alright, and there's Sand Courier. That's another annoying creature I need to deal with. Right, no Counterspell, please. Please, let this resolve. Awesome. Buy turns, that's nice. Next turn I can final payment. So that seems decent. So I guess a Pontiff makes sense here. I can use the final payment, sacrifice a Administrant, and essentially deal with one of his creatures. Sure, I'll let that resolve. I can block that easily with the Death Toucher if he decides to try anything. Hopefully no Counterspell. He didn't top... Well, I guess he top decked the Sage's Row. He's definitely holding to another spell here. He could give this Vigilance, I guess, and start attacking in. Sure. That's 5 damage. That is a lot, so yeah, I'm going to fire this off. Makes sense to sacrifice this. So what's my plan? Ooh, Blade Juggler is great. Let's play that. My plan is probably to just chump block as much as possible. Try to remove all of his threats. Ooh, Mortify is excellent, but that'll be next turn. I think the play white makes sense here. Just play it out. Might be forced to chump block. I might just take it here. I guess I can chump block next turn. I can cast Mortify when he attacks and prevent the buff. Because opponent is running out of resources here. Counterspell would be pretty bad though. That's another issue. I guess I could still take it if he decides to attack. I could set up like a nice double block if he does try something and he only attacks the Fairy Duelist. And I still have Dead Revels to get back my stuff. Hopefully he plays out his stuff too, so that would be fine. Alright, Shieldbringer, sure. And I could just chump here. Don't know why he's tapping down his Blade Juggler. He should be taking down a Flyer or something, but I'm probably going to chump here because this is a lot of damage. Let's see what he attacks with. Sure. Probably worth affording to chump here. Could just take 5. Yeah, it could still be okay. And I should have landed Mortify away the enchantment and ambush. So this seems reasonable, just say go. Could just done it right away to prevent like counterspell. Maybe that was the right call. Sure. I think it's better to mortify the enchantments over the yeah, let's do it. I think the ability will resolve too if he attacks first. So I definitely think it's worth firing it off here. And I think the double block is worth against the Chillbringer because I can get this back with Dead Revels. That I will just consider double blocking this Chillbringer. Because this is going to be an annoying threat. I need to deal with this eventually. I think I'm going to try to double block this. And I can also block this Sage's Rose Savant in trade-off for it too. I don't mind that. Yeah, let's do it. And I should be able to retrieve it back with Dead Revels next turn. So this is looking good for us. Pitiless Pontiff can start getting in, same with Plague White. But I think I want to Dead Revels first, of course, to make sure I've sacrificed tokens. Fodder up, so let's play land, let's Dead Revels. Could just get back the Blade Juggler, to be honest. And Griffin makes sense here, so let's do that. Then we can attack. Sure. I don't know what the opponent is thinking of, but I think I'm happy doing this. I think I sacrifice the juggler. Even though that can deal a little bit more damage, Plague White is probably a better attacker. So this is looking good. I don't know what the opponent's thinking. This is indestructible and it gains Death Touch, so both his flyers die. So opponent has a solid Angelic Exaltation deck, but he just made a bunch of misplays. Exposed to Daylight. He could have High Alert. There's nothing wrong with it, I guess. Because I'm already ahead in the race. I'm already taking out the opponent. So, fine having another exposed. He could have something like High Alert, especially in this type of deck that I want to keep this in my hand. Alright, sweet. So currently, 7-1. Noob farming. Pretty easy drafts overall. These opponents were definitely easier than the ones I faced during Mythic. So, beginning a new season, it's always nice to farm noobs. So, I'm going to upload this video, and have a nice day, guys. Take care. Bye.